Hiram Bullock, what a great guitar player, musician, entertainer, and what a great guy. Hear me out and listen to my whole Hiram Bullock story. I consider myself lucky to have had the opportunity on many occasions to hang out with Hiram, even jam with him. And, you know, sometimes when you meet one of your musical heroes, then they turn out to be assholes. Well, in this case, that didn't happen. Hiram Bullock was always kind to me. So how did I meet Hiram Bullock? It almost sounds like the beginning of a dating show. Sorry. Okay, I moved to New York City in summer of '88. And about 3 months in, I met Dennis Davis, the great drummer for Stevie Wonder and David Bowie and Roy Ayers and blah, blah, blah. So being close friends with Dennis, about a year in, it had to be 89-ish, he moved to the Bronx. And I went to his house and for a Super Bowl party, for all things. And I met this guy, a musician, a keyboard player / singer by the name Marvin Wright, who had worked with Wilson Pickett and blah, blah, blah. So Dennis Davis gave me the build-up to Marvin. He's like, oh, that's my guitar player, Casper. Oh, he's badass and blah, blah, blah. Marvin invites me to come down to his steady gig at a place called Chelsea Place on 8th Avenue between 17th and 18th Street in downtown Manhattan. And he also asked me if I wanted to buy a vintage 1969 blackface Fender twin reverb amp for only $200. And of course I said yes. So we did this transaction, and then I went down to Chelsea Place. A red flag went up in my head. Does this guy have a drug problem? Why does he need the money so badly? But I didn't care. I wanted that amp. A Fender Twin? Are you shitting me? For only $200? Now, I know this is long-winded, but I cannot tell you my Hiram Bullock story without telling you about Chelsea Place. Marvin had told me that he was friends with Hiram Bullock, but I didn't really believe him. Friends on what level? Getting high buddies? Maybe? However, I went down to Chelsea Place, and I was standing in front of the door, quite unassuming, not much of a curb appeal. So I enter, and instantly it feels like I am stuck in a Italian souvenir store. I'm thinking, what the fuck? There's this lady by the name Gail who's trying to sell me Italian-themed tchotchkes, which I politely declined. And then I entered the next door, and that's where the magic happened. There was a small stage to the left with a horseshoe bar curled around the stage that enabled spectators to be right in your face if you were the performer. Towards the back, there was the actual bar where you get the drinks. And then past the bar, there were like 3 steps down, and you will get into this backyard that had a duck pond with living ducks, looking like ducks and quacking like ducks. Marvin was on the tiny horseshoe stage singing a Motown song, playing keyboards along a drum machine. When he saw me, he gestured me to come up and sit in with him. And I did bring my guitar because in those days in New York City, you never know. I never left my house with my guitar. You know, I would just go to clubs and who knows? There were jam sessions everywhere. So I opened my guitar case, grabbed my axe, and joined Marvin on this tiny, narrow stage. Plugged into the PA system, and here we go. I don't even remember the first song we played, but I have good ears, so I can play along pretty much anything. I ended up playing the whole night. And after the gig, the owner came over and offered me a steady gig. His name was Santini, and they called him the Great Santini, probably as a reference to the Robert Duvall movie, The Great Santini. He was a character. He had that Kenny Rogers beard going on, but Italian style. And he could be very charming. He offered me 3 nights a week to play with Marvin, and Marvin agreed. And he offered $75 plus dinner and 2 drinks a night. I told Santini I would very much like to do this job, but also I was a Swiss immigrant without green card and any social security number. Had that been today, they probably would have put ice on my ass. But Santini didn't care. He went on, it's like, I came to this country a long time ago with nothing. I came from Italy, and do you see this? All this, I built this with nothing, okay? So, you can work here, and we will work something out with Marvin. So, Marvin Wright agreed to add my salary to his check, and every Friday we would go to the check cashing place, and he would pay me in cash minus his tax exemption. And that's how I met Hiram Bullock. Marvin wasn't lying about that. So, on maybe the 2nd or 3rd night of my now steady gig, who walks in? Hiram fucking Bullock. I knew exactly how he looked. I have seen him around the clubs earlier. Now, all musicians know who Hiram Bullock is, but for our non-musician friends or anyone who does not know who Hiram Bullock is, he is just this monster guitar player and like A-list session player, New York based, who played on everybody's record. And he's also a great entertainer. He had his own solo band for many, many years. And he's just, you couldn't get around Hiram Bullock being a musician in that period of time in New York. And let's not forget, Hiram Bullock was also the original guitar player for the David Letterman Band when they first started in 1982, also known as the world's most dangerous band, with band leader and keyboardist Paul Schaefer and the rhythm section of Will Lee on bass and the great Steve Jordan on drums. Prior to meeting Hiram, I, as a teenager, when I started to get serious about my guitar playing, I was studying his guitar licks from David Sanborn records, Bob James records, Sting records. I mean, come on. Like, the guy was just invincible. And then I met him, and he was just the nicest guy.